Check 1, 2. What is up, everybody? Just doing a little checky check here to make sure that I am indeed going live. Looks like I am indeed live. Just doing. There I am. Okay, cool. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Hey Nick. Hey Alexandra, how's it going? Welcome. Frodo's in the house. What's up? John, how's it going, man? Andreas, good to see you. Awesome. Okay, we're looking good here. I think everything's working. Hey, Alan. Welcome. Cool. Just making sure that these comments are... Luiso, how's it going? All right. Been a little while since I've been on YouTube. I miss it. It's been too crazy for me as of late, but here we are, live in December. Happy December, everyone. Hey, Chris, welcome. Emmanuel, what's going on? How are you guys doing? How's your December going so far? This year's almost over. Can you believe it? Man, all right. Well, guys, we have a whopping 23 submissions for this Lofi challenge, which is crazy. That's a lot. So I'm pretty much just going to dive right into it. And in an effort to keep this stream under like 2 hours, I'll probably just give everybody like a quick little bit of feedback if I have any, or if any thoughts to share. I will, of course, but I'll try not to ramble on as I usually do. Stevie B is back. I'm back. Alexandra says busy. Yeah, I feel that. Can I post that comments? Does this work? Oh, hold on a sec. I'm trying to figure out my bear with me. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, there we go. I'm posting your comment to the screen, Alexandra. This sums up how I feel in December so far. Busy. It's been crazy, man. Yeah, Nick says there's a lot of submissions. For sure, everyone, great work for sending over the tracks. There's a lot of variety to showcase today. It's very cool. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. Today's submission is all about lo-fi hip hop. That was November's challenge to write a lo-fi hip hop track, one that would ideally be suitable for like licensing. But yeah, I mean, we got, like I said, like a lot of variety. We got up-tempo stuff to showcase today. We got some more chill, ambient, maybe a bit of a sleepy vibe here and there. Hey, John, welcome. Glad you can make it. And yeah, I'm just gonna dive right into it. So we're gonna start at the top with I believe Michael Minich is first. Let's check that out. I'm playing my track in the background here. I'll show you guys that later. So, Michael Minich. What does Michael have to say about this track? Let's check it out. No name yet. Michael says, I haven't released any music yet. I've been into music production for a couple years, and I'm pretty sure that there's lots of room for improvement. Example, arrangement and mixing. Cubase VSTs used. Labs, piano, little contact, guitars, Spitfire Originals, intimate strings. Okay, cool. Let's check it out. Nice. Really, really nice. Yeah, that was great. Super smooth. Really, really beautiful cinematic textures there as well. Give me a second, actually. Yeah, also, I should point out that the beat was kind of interesting with like the snare on the two end. That was kind of a cool take on the rhythm. Ideas, yeah, super nice ideas. When the strings, I probably like personally like this isn't I wouldn't isn't a big critique or anything like that. I'm not sure if I would have. Where's the string start? About 130, I think. Oops. I'm not sure if I would have done the cello, like the solo cello intro. I would have just kept this really nice and open, this breakdown, and then just launched right into the string section when you get to back to the A section. I love that. This sounds really nice. Also sounded a bit like bright at the end here with this piano work. I'm not sure if you needed the two like piano ideas going at the same time here. It sounds a bit messy. Maybe could have left that a bit more minimalist, but like overall, I absolutely love this track. This is great. Great work, Michael. Thanks so much for the submission. I'm going to keep it rolling because we got so many to go over, but yeah, awesome. Thank you. Andreas, you're up next. Let's see what Andreas has to say. Oh, actually, I remember that Andreas has a little bit of a spoken introduction here, so I'm just going to play this. And I'll skip over what, if there was any, I'm not sure if there was any notes in the submission form itself, but this time with audio. Enjoy. Okay, here we go. From Andreas.
Thank you, Stevie B and PMA friends, for supporting, encouraging, and pushing me to get better in so many ways. This is my first lo-fi track, and I feel prepared for this one. Inspiration from Stevie B, of course, but also the community, the feedbacks, and the shared tracks helped me to get into this genre. Also, not to forget Eric Copeland's advices in some mastermind sessions. So for this track I used the vinyl plugin for some noise, some distortion, isotope, ozone, and the augmented grand piano and augmented strings from Arturia. Also different arcade sounds and effects. So enjoy.
All right. Andreas, thank you so much for the lovely intro. That was indeed a first. That was the first time that anyone's ever done that. So points for originality there. That's really cool, and appreciate everything that you shared with us there, man. Great track. I actually love the chord progression you're using. It's really, really cool, vibey chord progression. My only thought for you was something to take a second look at would be the way that the mix is very, very mono. I'm not sure if you applied some kind of filter on the mix bus or something along those lines, or in the mastering stage, and it may have been that you did that in order to make it sound more like lo-fi in a way. And I would just say that I would just maybe take a second look at that, because it's some of the elements in the mix are a bit difficult to discern from each other, just because everything is coming right down the middle of the mix, and there's not a lot of stereo information. So other than that, I would love to, I'd love to hear that in a more like kind of a bit more of a stereo spread. And I think that would actually really help with sort of getting a better picture of what's going on in the track. But what I hear, the ideas are fantastic, and the chord progression, again, really, really cool stuff, man. So thank you so much for sending that over, Andreas. And we are gonna move on. Next up is Alexandra's track. This one is called Boston's Eve. Let me just pull up Alexandra's notes. Okay, so Alexandra said, I don't have much to say this time, just that I was inspired by the track you shared as a reference. The track's name is Rainy by Fiore. In my track, I used vocal and guitar samples, piano by Addictive Keys, some synth from Dext, and drums samples from Kymatics, and production music live. Very cool. I've been using Dext a little bit more lately, and I'm going to try to feature that in the new writing module that I'm working on for the Lo-Fi Hip Hop course relaunch. So thanks for mentioning that. And here we go. This is Boston's Eve. All right. Very, very nice. Thanks so much, Alexandra, for sending that over. I really like the ideas there. It's a cinematic touch with the strings. Really cool vibe overall. I would say that maybe just overall, I feel like you could introduce a bit more warmth into the mix. I'm not sure if maybe it's just that the bass feels a little bit scooped out, or or maybe it's some of the drum samples that you're using. But I love the ideas and the vocal samples, and but I do think you got a bit more room for the bass and the low end to breathe and groove with the kick, though. So maybe if that would be my only thing, really, is just to dial a bit more warmth into the mix overall. But I really like the ideas there. Awesome. Thank you so much. We got Frodo, Mr. Ninian Valenta, up next. And this is a track called Cinnamon Rolls. We got some notes here, I think. Oh, Deepak's in the house. What's up, buddy? Okay, from Ninian. Sending you a track for the November challenge. I intended this to be a regular lo-fi track, but I think it turned out to be slightly Christmassy. I guess eating all of those Christmas cookies lately had an effect on me. Oh man, you're telling me. I've gained like 10 pounds lately because my wife keeps on baking Christmas cookies and they're so good. As on many of my tracks, I used a mix of splice samples, orchestral libraries from Spitfire, a lo-fi piano that comes with Fruity Loops, and or I should say FL. Everyone just says FL. Does anyone say Fruity Loops anymore? And recorded guitars and bass along with Guitar Rig 7. Cool. Let's give it a roll. Yeah, very nice. Right on, Frodo. Who else is craving some cinnamon rolls? That's a great title. Yeah, dude, awesome. Super positive, uplifting vibes. I feel the Christmas spirit in there. I think I don't really have too much feedback, really, other than I think if I was gonna go if I was gonna go Christmas, I'm gonna go full on Christmas, and I would have maybe added like some sleigh bells in there and made it like even more Christmassy. I would have leaned into the Christmas thing a bit more, but yeah, a great track, man. It's awesome. Maybe it could have had a bit more of a defined breakdown section where you really bring the energy down a little bit. It's pretty consistent energy throughout the entire arrangement. But yeah, lots of great ideas in there, and a good groove and a good mix, man. Awesome. Thank you so much, Frodo. Cool. We got Chris H up next. Let me see if we got some notes from Mr. Chris. Willem's in the house. What's going on? Did I already say hi? I'm trying to keep track of who I greeted already. My brain's a little fried. Okay, from Chris. In retrospect, I wanted to capture the feel of walking through a city park while it rains in early November. I tried my best to put an upbeat and some liveliness into it. If you want rain, come visit me in Vancouver. We got lots of rain for you. Okay, cool. City Park. Let's check this out. Very, very nice. Yes, Betty, I agree with you. Beautiful, beautiful track. Chris, man, an uplifting, beautiful experience that track was. It to me, if that the vibe encapsulated like the moment where the sunshine is breaking through the rain clouds. it felt less rainy than it did almost sunny in a way. It was very positive and uplifting, and I really like that. Very licensable. Yeah, I'm not sure I have too many thoughts really. I think on. Yeah, I really like the chord progression and the ideas, the texturization. Some really nice melodies in there. I like the presence that the bass has in the mix. I think I would have personally opted for like maybe like a less sustained kind of vibe from the bass, something that like grooved with a kick pattern a bit more rather than those long sustained notes. But that's just me. To me, it had kind of like a, excuse me, it had kind of like a bedroom pop vibe, leaning towards that kind of territory more than like classic lo-fi. But I mean, lo-fi it's I don't even know if lo-fi is such an open-ended term. Like it encapsulates a lot of different vibes, and so I think that. All I'm trying to say is that this track had kind of a pop flavor to it for me, which I think is great. And I think it would work really well for licensing opportunities. So great work. Thank you so much for submitting. Sweet. Moving on. All right, let's check out Todd's track from Todd Gill. We got some notes here somewhere. Let me pull them up for y'all. Okay, so Todd says, absolutely love making riffs like this on the Rhodes, the Fender Rhodes. Each one kind of defines a world based on a hazy past, but not always fully explored yet. I like to play around in those worlds. Cool. This is a real Rhodes in the track, but a couple measures of the lead are doubled with a contact instrument as it cuts through better. The Scarby Mark II. The guitar is real as well, using stock Ableton guitar processing plugins. Other sounds are from Sylenth, Omnisphere, more contact instruments and samples pulled mostly from Splice. I'm here to learn, so please share any feedback you have. Okay, great. Let's check it out. Mayhem. Can't forget from Todd Gill. Amazing track, dude. Wow, so cool, so cool. I love, the you got the right amount of compression going on there. It's a very energetic, powerful mix. That bus compression is something that is tricky to get right with lo-fi and hip hop. But yeah, really energetic mix. The beat energy is excellent. Really nicely textured too. Very, very cool. What can I say? There's a few moments where the cymbal swells and some of the chime transitions feel like a little hot, like a little bright and overwhelming. Minor thing. Maybe some of the brass energy too, just like a tiny little bit. I feel like sometimes and I do this a lot with my lo-fi tracks as well, is when I mix them, when I'm writing the track, I tend to keep the amount of bus compression I have fairly minimal. I kind of mess with that later in when I get to actually fine tuning the mix, then sometimes I'll push it more or that kind of thing. And I'll always find personally that the cymbal swells that I do, because I always add a lot of those into my lo-fi tracks that are being pushed out to to music libraries, because I think that they're really useful for licensing. I'll always find that they get too hot in the mix, in the level I initially had them at. When I start adding limiting and compression and pushing that a little bit harder, I always have to turn my swells down, because it just brings out that sizzle when you start pushing the compressor a little bit harder. So yeah, that's my only thoughts on it, man. I mean, other than that was a great track. I love the vibe. Excellent work, Todd. Okay, Willem, you are up next. What does Willem have to say? Oh, give me a second. I gotta skip ahead here because just looking at my Google Sheet. Bear with me. Okay, thoughts from Willem. It started snowing here last Wednesday. I hadn't let up since, and I've tried to capture the mood of that in the first snowfall. Whether I was successful is up for debate. Okay, I've been listening to the suggested lo-fi tracks. These are the reference tracks I provided for this challenge. All the tracks are truly fantastic, but the one that inspired me the most was Magic Solo's Shibuya. That guy is a genius. Yeah, that was a good ref. I made use of the Logic Lo-Fi track template as a starting point, but followed your advice and searched a bit around in Logic, where I swapped some sounds out for others that would better suit the mood I was going for. For the drums, I used the Ava Prism Lo-Fi drum kit. Awesome. Which recently picked up during the Black Friday sale. And finally, all the vocal texture samples I used came from Apple Loops. Cool. Excellent. Let's give it a spin. Here we go. Very nice, Willem. Bring on that snow. It hasn't snowed here yet. That felt very snowy, and I like the atmosphere, man. I like what you're doing here. I think the ideas and the execution are pretty sweet overall. There's a few moments I think where there's like a bit of it's a bit cloudy harmonically in a few sections with the chord progression that you're using. I think honestly, maybe the solution to that would be to keep it even more minimal. I think that there's a few samples in there and a few things that you're doing that there might be too much going on, even though there is a nice amount of space in the mix. Like for example, the sort of like not arpeggio thing, but that kind of top, that melodic texture that's kind of like throughout the track in quite a few places here. It's not super loud in the mix, but like I think that in a lot of spots it doesn't really need to be there. Like you could even open it up a bit more and just kind of lean on like that simple piano, like jazzy chord progression. You can keep it really, really simple. So there's a few moments where I think that there might be one or too many things going on at the same time and creating a little bit of clutter harmonically, especially with some of like the vocal samples that you're using. But nothing like super offensive, but just maybe like it could use like a tiny bit of cleanup here and there. But overall, I really like the direction that you're pushing it in. And Willem, it's always great to hear your music, man. And thank you so much for submitting. Hopefully those thoughts are helpful. Okay, next up, we've got Mr. John Chapman. Let's check this one out. Give me 1 second while I pull up these notes. I got John's notes here. Maybe not. Is this it? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this upbeat lo-fi track features Logic Studio Brass, vocal samples from Loop Cloud, and real bass. Drums are a combination of samples from Loop Cloud plus Prism Lo-Fi drums. Okay, excellent. Here we go. Sweet. Oh man, I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh man, I that's just so good. I love the up-tempo vibes. To me, something like that is super licensable. It would work so well. I could see that absolutely cleaning up in terms of licensability. Yeah, I mean, everything about that was sick. The breakdown, like the intro, the the catchy little piano melody, the simple piano melody, that really sold it for me. Then that's just perfect. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any like too much in the way of like critical thoughts or feedback. It had a really nice old school hip hop vibe to it. Like it brought me back to the '90s, like late '90s hip hop. I suppose the only thing I could say is that it's like it doesn't really feel like a typical like lo-fi like hip hop track. It feels more like like a '90s up tempo hip hop thing. To get nitpicky. Not that that's like a slight on the track at all. It felt like, less like, I don't know, I guess less jazzy, nostalgic, like, typical lo-fi. I mean, if there is a typical thing for lo-fi, but nonetheless, a super, like just a very well executed track. And I should also mention that I love the amount of space that in this track. That really, it just felt good to me. And I think that is something I think that really adds to the licensability. It's something that you could easily like throw underneath, like in a lot of situations, it would work if there was dialogue, for example. Like it wouldn't get in the way of anything. There wasn't anything that was like obstructively bright or overwhelming in the mix. It just had a lot of open space. So yeah, really well done, John. I think this is an excellent track, and I'm stoked that you sent it over for this challenge. Great stuff. Okay, Michael is up next. Season of Reflection. Do we have some notes from Michael? Michael Cirasolo. Here we go. I went off the brief a little. Tempo is a bit slow and the percussion is very subtle. Okay, let's check it out. All right, Michael, thanks so much for the track. Very, very meditative, very introspective, very reflective. A season of reflection. Yeah, absolutely. That was reflective. I would, this is cool, man. Like what I was feeling when I heard this was like, there's like, if you had that kind of like a, more of like a sleepy lo-fi breakbeat behind this track, something like really like it would make for a perfect study beats vibe, but it just needed that lo-fi beat behind it. It needed that like sort of compressed, that like you had a beat, I could hear it, but like you said, it was very it had a very small presence in the mix. And it didn't really feel like a break beat. It felt like just kind of a straight up like like, oh, just like a straight beat. So I think if you were to just put like, I mean, it would have been as simple as like just dragging like kind of like a beat loop and putting it over this, and it would have, and maybe having like some kind of bass groove to groove with the beat. Then you would have had like a very like a really nice like sort of sleepy steady beat, like Spotify kind of lo-fi track to work with. But yeah, I think that's kind of what you needed, but I think you knew that. So anyway, thanks for sending over. Awesome stuff, Michael. And let's check out this track from Luis. Let me pull up Luis's notes here. Okay, from Luis Felix. Luis, I don't think I've introduced myself properly yet. My name is Luis. I'm from Brazil, and I've been a member of the Academy for a few months, but only now have decided to participate in the challenge. Welcome. Thanks for sending this over, man. I'm focused primarily in rock/indie music, so this was a nice way to test all that I've learned so far. Okay, cool. I used mostly Spitfire Labs and Serum presets with a few tweaks for the piano/keys, recorded my own bass, and Splice helped with a lot of the transitions and ear candy stuff. Hope you enjoy it and would appreciate any feedback. Looking forward to hearing all your songs. Sweet. All right, let's check it out. It's called No Day Like Today. Sweet. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Luis, for sharing that. I have a few thoughts. I really like that you've got the like, I like that the beat is up nice, like it's nice and punchy and up front in the mix. I think that really works for the track. I think you might, like, I might say that if there was one thing to take a second look at, it would be that like a similar thing to what I said to Willem earlier in the live stream, is there may or may not be a lot of like conflicting ideas, like creating a bit of like harmonic dissonance in places. Like to me, like I would have to actually see your session and you know, to give like a really proper assessment. But I would bet that maybe stripping some things out of the mix could help with the clarity a little bit. It's hard to say exactly like what the like what things exactly I would you know, what approach I would take without really seeing what's going on behind it, like underneath the hood. But to me, it sounded like there's a bit of like harmonic conflict in the mids and low mids. It sounds like a lot of cool ideas, but it was at times it felt difficult to find the like the tonal center. So there was a lot of density. So I maybe try to clean it up. Like it could be as easy as just taking some things away. And I really think that when it comes to like effective lo-fi music, you can really get away with like a lot of minimalism. You don't need a lot in your track to make it hit. So other than that, yeah, this great. Like, you know, I love that the beat was up front and punchy in the mix, and that's something that I think a lot of the tracks for this challenge could have done better with. Like it's all about, for me, like lo-fi and hip hop in general is really an exercise in kind of like having the bass and the drums play like a significant role in the mix and be nice and punchy. And I think you did a great job with that. So again, thank you so much, Luis, and welcome to the Academy. I'm so glad that you sent this track over, and looking forward to hearing more of your music. Okay, Mike, you are up next. This is a track called Sunshine, and pulling up Mike's notes here. Okay, so not sure if this track fit the traditional lo-fi vibe, but I thought I'd submit anyway. For this track, I started by laying down a chord progression, then chopped it up, give it more of a sampled feel, and then built off that. I wasn't going to add vocals, but I just felt like doing some in the end. There's a bunch I'd probably change if I could. I feel like the chorus is maybe a bit busy, and it's not the best mix I've ever done, but hopefully it's okay. Cool. Let's check it out. Nice. Mike, excellent. Yeah, I think that might be the only vocal, not song with vocals. There's some other tracks with vocal samples, but like, yeah, that's like a proper vocal song. It felt more like a bedroom pop kind of vibe to it, I guess, you know, because there's like a significant vocal in it. It had that up-tempo energy to it as well. Yeah, I loved it. I think that you know, a few thoughts I would share is that like the mix felt like a tad bright here and there, and not even actually so much the brightness was getting to me, but like the I think especially towards the end here, you've got like a lot of things kind of happening and competing in the same like frequency range, and I think that like there's like a melodic texture, some samples and like the main vocal all kind of fighting each other around, especially like around here. So I don't know if I guess whenever there's vocals in a track, and if there's like a featured vocal, then I'm looking for ways to kind of tuck some of the other energy behind it and feature the vocals a little bit more clearly. And I think that could be maybe something to take a look at in the mix. It feels a bit bright. It feels a little like there's a way to, I don't even sure if that's like a mastering thing, but it might be just like getting some of the stuff out of the vocals way. Maybe that's just like my intuition on it when listening to it, but I like the melodies. I like the vibe. I've listened to a ton of your tracks throughout this year, and I love all of the vocal energy that you bring to your tracks, and like your melodic ideas are always on point. So excellent. Thank you, Mike. Always great to feature your music for the challenges. Next up, we got Catalan. Let me pull up Catalan's notes. Okay, from Catalan. Drums are coming from Spitfire Labs and the orchestral stuff from Symphobia and Orchestral Essentials by Project Sam. Man, it's been a long time since I've used those. Those are old school string libraries. They go way back. Cool. Let's check it out. Ooh, I like that ending. Very nice, Catalan. Yeah, sweet. That was great, man. I absolutely love that chord progression. Really, really nice. Love the piano. And all the ideas in this track are fantastic. And the textures too. It's got a really nice, funky, upbeat feel to it. I guess I would say that, like, and this isn't really a knock on the track, but I think, like, stylistically, it felt more like an R&B track or like a soul track than it did like lo-fi hip hop. And I think that's probably just like, it probably comes down to like the sample selection and like the drum vibe specifically. Like, you've got a very like live sounding drum kit, which is kind of driving, most of the energy in the track, and it sounds fine. There's a few breakdown moments where you kind of lean on more of like a lo-fi type beat, which is cool. And by the way, like, I don't think that all like lo-fi necessarily has to be like sampled drums. I think it's just more like typical of the genre to have that kind of like chopped sample vibe. So yeah, not a knock on the track at all. I would just say that overall it felt more like a soul vibe to me, just because it had like a very live kind of feel to it. But certainly like a great track and some excellent ideas there and arrangement. Thanks so much, Catalin. That was awesome. Moving on, we got a track called Keep On from John Marr. Let's check this one out. And John sent me some notes, I believe. Here we go. Okay. So from John, in my efforts to stay away from sleepy lo-fi, I think I may have gone too far in the nostalgia soul ballpark. Lots of Teletone audio stuff on it. Sweet. VST strings, not samples. Some real guitars. I quite like the bass line. Currently has a vocal sample from Splice, which I'm keen to replace with an original vocal. Sweet. Okay, let's check this out. Here we go. Sick. Yeah, that was awesome. Andreas asks, John, are you playing that bass? I can't remember. Did you say whether that was the real bass in your notes? Some real guitars. Yeah, let us know in the comments. Maybe that was the Teletone bass. What is that called again? I forget. The Retrograde. I picked that up a little while ago, and man, I love all the Teletone stuff. Yeah, great track, man. That was awesome. Super vibey. Love the chord progression and like the overall emotional feel of it. what else can I say? I don't really have too much in the way of critical feedback. The only thing I was gonna say is that and I felt that bass line for sure. That felt really good to me. There's a lot of sort of ethereal like pad energy in the track. I would have loved to hear that bass line like a little bit more clearly, and I think maybe like one way to have accomplished that would have been to like sidechain a bit of that pad energy to the kick and the bass a little bit more, or kind of like mold those pads like around that groove. I think that would have helped it in a way. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. But like it sounded great. I think I was craving to just hear a bit more clarity out of that bass line because it sounded awesome, but I wanted to hear it more. So that would be that's really my only thoughts on the track. But otherwise, like, yeah, it had fantastic vibe to it, man. Yeah, let us know what you're using for that bass. We all want to know. I think my comments like are on like a big delay here. Sometimes I worry that my modem keeps like crapping out on me. So hopefully that didn't happen hopefully that doesn't happen during the stream. How long have we been here? An hour? Okay, not bad. Moving along. Okay, next up. Thanks so much, John. Next up, we got a track from Deepak. This one's called Orange Sky. Let me pull up my notes. From Deepak. Lo-fi track with Analog Lab 5 used mainly and drums from Splice with bass from Retrograde. You said Renegade. Did you mean Retrograde? Am I saying it right? The Teletone library is Retrograde, right? Or am I totally going nuts? Maybe it's Renegade. I'll have to look. Okay, anyway, here's Deepak's track. All right. Betty wants to dance. Sweet. Very cool. Okay, I was right about Retrograde. I'm not going totally crazy. Thank you for sharing that, Deepak. Yeah, cool, man. Cool track. And let me just get rid of this comment. Yeah, I feel like perhaps that's another instance of like the bass line kind of wanting to come through a bit more. I wonder if there's maybe a way to kind of wrap the mix around like the beat and the bass a little bit more with the compression, perhaps. Yeah, yeah, overall, awesome track. Absolutely agree. Alexandra says, I like that beep sound. Something really cool about that short decay melody. Yeah, that it had some good vibe to it. I wonder if, there's something, the beat sometimes like with the hi-hat felt a little stiff somehow. I'm not sure how how would approach it differently. It'd be kind of hard to explain that over a live stream, but something maybe there's something in the compression that I think could maybe feature the bass groove a little bit more. I wanted to hear it a bit more. I'm drawn to that bass, but sorry, that's not like the most constructive feedback, but that's my sort of intuitive feeling of it. But I think I got some great ideas there, and had like a 90s up-tempo hip-hop vibe to me. Maybe it's just the way that beat sounded. That's good. It's good energy, man. Thank you, Deepak. Okay, we got Chad. I think I saw Chad in the comments earlier. What is up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. And we're going to feature your track now. This is called Greenhorn. This is one I've heard before. And I think you showed me this track like a week or two ago. And you may have done a few tweaks to it in the meantime. But from Chad, he says, here's that lo-fi track I've been working on for my library submission. I tried to tame the high end and brought up the kick and bass. Hope it sounds better. Forgot to bounce out a wave before we left the island. Hope that's okay. Oh yeah, it's all good. Okay, let's check this out. Here we go. From Chad Kaya. Chad bringing serious guitar skills to the table. Love it. I love it. Yeah, man, this is awesome. So last time I heard this track, my feedback for you was more or less that it needed a bit more warmth. And so this is an improvement from the last time I heard it. Even though that was a while back, I'd have to kind of A/B them. But I feel like you've injected a bit more warm energy into it. The last mix was quite bright. I think that there's still like a few sort of brightness issues, minor ones, but like for example, this piano melody that you have, it's a little bit like it's poking. in the mix set. Like it's quite loud. I'm not sure it needs to be so loud. That last note in particular has like a kind of a resonant energy that's quite abrupt in the mix. The mix overall is like the ideas are so sick. So I think that like the ideas are great. That carries like, you know, the energy in the track. It's like a for lo-fi hip hop, the beat is like the beat energy is quite diminished in the mix overall. It's kind of come like down here, whereas all like the guitar work and a lot of the melodic and like harmonic ideas are up front. And I think that for like lo-fi, I would maybe like turn the tables a little bit on that, like have the beat play a more significant role and bring some of that bright guitar energy like back a little. That would be the way I would remix it, I think. But that aside, there's some amazing ideas in here, and I love the organic feel of it, man. It's great stuff. So yeah, thanks so much, Chad. That was awesome, dude. Keep up the great work. Moving on. Okay, we got a track from Nick. I saw Nick in the comments earlier. I think he had to go, but big shout out to Nick at Sound Jam Studios. Nick. I don't think he sent me this track via the Google form. I think he sent it to me as a feedback track. So I don't have any notes from him. I don't think, but let me just double check. No, I don't. So we're just going to give this a spin. Here we go. Smooth. Love it. Great work, Nick. Man, okay, there's so much going on for me at the moment, so I'm trying to remember, because I know you sent me, I'm pretty sure you had sent me this track, and I gave you feedback on it, and this is a revision. I'm pretty sure I could be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. But I feel like that there's a more minimalist approach in this one. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're not in the stream anyway. I think he left, but you could email me or send me a message in the Academy. But I feel like you took some stuff away, and it feels more open. So I like that about the track. There's one little thing which kind of didn't quite fit for me, like harmonically in this last section. Not to get like super nitpicky, but there's sort of like an ambient thing going up on the top of the mix, like the right here. Like it doesn't really fit the chord progression. Like it's not totally dissonant, but it adds like a sort of like a bit of like a strange harmonic vibe for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's not totally out of place. I think I just would have hit like a different kind of like pedal tone, if that's the right word I'm looking for. But yeah, small detail. It feels nice and open. And yeah, no, I do remember reviewing this track because of that. I think that you used one of the same samples that I used in my Cubase lo-fi tutorial. That's right. That's how I remember it. You have to forgive me. I have trouble keeping track of everything that's going on right now. But yeah, this is great. This is great stuff, Nick. And I appreciate you, man. You're doing a lot of hard work, and it shows, man. This is a great track. You made a lot of progress with this one. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so moving on. This is Sylvain's track. It's called Not So Chill. Not with an H. Let me pull up my notes. Did I see Arco in the chat? What's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. I'm just going to answer. I was taking a look at the comments here. Yeah, Alan says, love the keys and the drum fills, bass a little boomy. Yeah, perhaps. Chad says, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, man, my pleasure. Andreas asks, I wonder how monthly challenges will be done in 2024. What if there are more than 80 submissions? Dude, I was just wondering that today. I was like, because as the membership grows, like I feel like these monthly challenges could get like totally out of hand. I'm not sure I could do like a 3-hour live stream. That's why I'm trying to get through them quickly today, because we're almost finished, but normally with the amount of blabbing that I do, even 10 submissions can go for like 2 hours. I'm not sure like how we are for time here. Hour and 23. I'm doing good. I think I'm doing good today. I'm keeping the pace, steady. But yeah, that is a very good question. I'm not sure. Once the challenges get to like 30 plus submissions, then I'm in trouble. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Might have to do 2 separate live streams a month. Surprisingly, for the amount of members in the Academy, there's not a lot of challenge submissions. Only a relatively small contingent of the members take part in these challenges and send me submissions. And even though I would love for more people to be active in these challenges, it's actually kind of like a blessing, because I think that 20 submissions, or like even like up to 30 is like kind of like, it's a lot. It's a lot to go through for one live stream. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna tackle that situation, but I'll figure something out. Okay, back to the track. We got a submission here from Sylvain, and he mentions that Groove Agent for the drums and Cubase. Everything else is my own recordings. I found 2 choirs that I like, so I tried to use them in this track. Okay, sweet. Nice ending. Nice work, Sylvain. Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I absolutely agree with Willem. That's a beautiful track. Yeah, I don't really have too much feedback for you, man. This is great. I really like how open it is. I think that's just something I'm drawn to with lo-fi. Is like maintaining a certain amount of like space and openness to it. It's a bit tricky. I think I certainly I've been guilty of like kind of trying to pack a lot of information into my lo-fi tracks, and some of them, if you listen to some of my catalog, there is a lot of like there's a lot of texturization on some of them, but I do love it when the ideas are simple and effective, and you can kind of just like get away with just like a beat, a bass line, and some nice chords, like that's all you really need if the ideas are on point. And so I like the space in your track. I think that the one thing I would say is to mess around and experiment a bit with your bus compression. I feel like that you could probably work on having a bit more of like a punchy feel to it. The drums were kind of similar to Chad's track. There's like a lot of beautiful guitar work that's sitting on top of the drums. The drums feel like a bit diminished, and maybe like a little bit more of an active bass line that grooves with the drum beat a bit more, and having that kind of like having some of these beautiful kind of lo-fi guitar chords work around that rhythmic energy a bit more. And I feel like bus compression is sort of the key to making that happen. So that's something that I would think about and start messing around with a bit more. But yeah, like I love the chord changes you're using. Those are really, really nice, man. Very cool. Very vibey. Very vibey. Great stuff, man. Thank you so much, Sylvain. And I'm going to move on to Jenny's track. Jenny Goodspeed. This is a track called Nightshade. And from Jenny, she says, "It's my first monthly challenge." Awesome. Thank you for sending this over. And first time trying lo-fi hip-hop, or any hip-hop for that matter. Tried for the yummy 70s sound featuring Sonya Score Rokai, and I'm not sure I know what that is. I'll have to check that out. And session guitarist Electric Vintage. Excellent. Okay, cool. Thank you, Jenny. Here we go. Nice. I like that ending. Some really sweet endings today. A fantastic first lo-fi track, Jenny. Great job. I'm so glad that you sent that over. I got a few thoughts for you. Just make sure that... let me check the comments here. Bye, Deepak. Thanks for joining. Yeah, great piano. Agreed. Welcome to the monthly submissions. Yeah, I like the title. The Nightshade felt like the right title for the chord progression. Sort of like a not, I wouldn't say unconventional, but like a dark. There's a darkness to that chord progression. I think it had to do with like that third chord being like a minor one, and yeah, there was like a sort of a darkness to it, and also I like the cricket nighttime texture in the background too. So that was cool. Jenny, my one like big point I think that I would drive home for you is to work on that beat energy. Again, this is another example of where like the beat is just really diminished in the mix. Like I want to hear more of that beats. Like I could barely hear the kick drum. So find some space in the mix to bring that beat forward. I think that would really, really help drive the energy a bit more. And that would be more in line with lo-fi. And yeah, work and maybe play around with the bus compression a little bit, you know, make it bounce, make it pop a little bit more with the rhythm. And I think that would put this track in a much more like lo-fi type space. But yeah, I really like the texturization that you got going on here, especially during this little breakdown part. This is very cool. Yeah, want to hear that beat pop a little bit more in the mix, but that's my main point. Great stuff. What a cool track for first time lo-fi. That's awesome. Emmanuel is up next. We got another track here called Winter Nights. Checking my notes. Okay, from Emmanuel. He said, I tried to make a jazzy lo-fi Christmas song. Sweet. I use mostly free libraries from Labs and drum samples from Splice. Excellent. Let's check it out. Yeah, I love that. Great work. That's sweet. Yeah, dude, I really like these breakdown sections. They're very, very tasty. I like how you switch to like a jazz, like a snare brush vibe there too. That's really cool. Yeah, great energy overall, man. I really don't have too much feedback. This is like the soundtrack to me, like stumbling around my apartment drunk on Bailey's on like Christmas morning. I have to play this track. It feels like I'm in a dream. It really cool vibes. I don't know if there was like one thing I would maybe do, and is like add like a double time, like a percussive feel to some of these like A sections where the energy is up. Maybe like go double time on the sleigh bells, or like even I think a tambourine to kind of like lift the energy up a bit more. But yeah, just a tiny little suggestion. I don't know. Otherwise, I think this is great. It's got a very like a dry feel to it too, which I like. It makes it feel more like funky and like hits harder. It's not like super like ambient and cinematic. It's got like a tight, nice feel to it. So yeah, great work, Emmanuel. Excellent. Getting me in the Christmas spirit. Okay, next up is from Paul Marsh. Got a track called Velvet Vibes. And let's see what Paul has to say. Okay, so Paul says, I recently bought the Native Instruments Homage and Drift Theory Lo-Fi bundle they had on special. I got to check those out. Hadn't used it much, so this challenge gave me the perfect chance to try it out. I used mostly the Drift Theory battery kits and Homage presets to get the main ideas flowing, and the rest came together easily enough from there. I like how the Homage presets are already texturized and sound perfect for the genre. The only issue I had with it was that some of the sounds have the vinyl crackle baked in instead of being on the separate B channel. I had to EQ it a bit to make it sound less intense. Yeah, it's kind of annoying when that stuff is baked in. I have to agree. There's a couple other presets that I've messed around with other libraries where it's like, I wish I could kind of like take it away because it's not always useful, especially if you're like using like a separate like texture sample. Cool. All right, let's check it out. Yes, like that ending. Nice tight ending. Yeah, super velvety. velvety to the max, man. I love it. Paul, great track. Yeah, I mean, I've listened to been listening to Paul's music for over a year now, I think. And I've heard you create, insane trailer tracks, like crazy, like hip hop style trailer tracks as well. So it's cool to hear you get into more of like a lo-fi, laid back, chill vibe. I think you did a great job with this. Super vibey. I don't really have too many thoughts. I feel like maybe there's this is a small little detail, but there's a lot of like pad ethereal, like cinematic energy in the mix. I feel like sometimes it's like a little overwhelming. Like I would have kind of like to hear a little bit more of a stripped back version of it. I think you could have gotten away with that, but I mean, I don't know if you're vibing on the cinematic, like the pads and like the sort of like the reverberated feel of everything, then right on, it's not really a criticism of the track. I just kind of wonder, because there's some layers underneath those pads that I was kind of grooving on and digging. So, and like there's a few moments where some of that like textured pad energy, like it kind of glosses over some of that more rhythmic stuff. I don't know. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's just that it was like coming from listening to Emmanuel's track, which is like really dry and tight, and then going to something that's like a much different style, like mix, like cinematic and like very ambient. Maybe that was like too abrupt for my brain. So I don't know, man. We're on submission number 20 here. Maybe I'm like losing my mind a bit. I love the track, Paul. That's great stuff, man. Take my feedback with, a grain of salt, I guess. So what do we got here? We got a track from Blaz. I don't think I've featured any music from Blaz on a feedback on the live stream yet. Let me check out Blaz's notes. I hope I'm saying your name right, Blaz. This is my first sort of finished track. I'm a total noob, still light years behind, learning through your excellent courses. Oh, thank you, man. There are things that are still missing or not quite right, transitions, mixing, sounds, but I am improving. Samples and VSTs used, drum samples from Lander, other free samples, Labs, Excellent, Grand, Scuffum, Skier. I don't know who that is. Collab B3, Sweet Case, Reaper stock plugins for mixing, Ozone Elements on master. Okay, sweet. Thanks for sending it over, Blast. Here we go. Let's check it out. Nice. Yeah, very laid back. I like that. I like the chord progression a lot. This is also going on my my Drunk on Bailey's playlist for sure. It's got like a nice, like dreamy, laid back, sort of sipping on booze energy, which I like. Yeah, awesome. Great to feature your music, Blaz, for the first time on one of these live streams. And what can I say about this track? I think that, you're not the only track that I think suffers from this a little bit on this from today. There's a few others that I really feel like you got to maybe find a way to inject a bit more warmth into the mix. It feels like the drums, or maybe more than the drums, is like the low mids and like lows are scooped out. And so I think I want to hear like, yes, a little bit more warmth and punchiness in the bottom end. It feels the most obvious on the drums, and like the kick, for example, just feels kind of like a little bit thin. I don't think it's far off, but yeah, like it almost feels like there was an EQ on the drum set and you just like scooped out like all of like the lows, which in a way it kind of gives it a more lo-fi feeling, but I think you got the lo-fi texturization kind of like covered on some of the other elements in the track, and the right approach is there 100%. So yeah, great work. Whew, oh, holy cow, we are on the last one, I think. Next one, yeah, last one here besides from mine is Alan's track, and this one's called Dusty Ukulele. What does Alan have to say? I haven't made much lo-fi before, so it was a nice experience. Your lo-fi hip-hop course was really helpful. I used some tips and methods from there. Sweet. Live bass and ukulele. Mellotron, Wurlitzer, and piano from Arturia. Okay, cool. Let's check this out. Yes, Alan, man. Oh, that was great. That was really great, really good. I don't think I've, honestly, like to my recollection, I don't think I've ever heard somebody do like a ukulele lo-fi jam like that. That's really unique. Totally worked for me. It's got a really nice like positive vibe to it. The ukuleles sound great. I know you know what you're doing with the ukulele. You got tons of ukulele music, and so you're a pro at that. So I mean, it just sounds really good. It's a really nice mix, and the lead stuff, like the lead melodies that are happening over that chord progression sound are really tasty. They're not overdone. They're very, very tasteful. Everything feels like it's in its right place. I don't know. There's not really much I could say other than, I was thinking maybe like as a little suggestion to do something that's like kind of typical lo-fi or hip hop would be to do like a filter sweep out of the ukulele chords, like during this breakdown section, perhaps. Like just to filter out all the top end and then like bring it back as you progress through this breakdown. That would have been kind of cool. It also would have given it maybe like a slight break from that 4-chord progression, which doesn't sound like overly repetitive, but it would have been like kind of a nice, like just throwing a little bit of a twist into the arrangement. But just a little light suggestion that might have been cool. Something you could try. But yeah, I feel like that's awesome, man. That's really cool, really unique flavor to bring to the table for this challenge. So thanks so much. Wow, everyone did such an amazing job. What a freaking challenge. What a live stream this has been. Just amazing. So much fun. And yeah, I guess I'll just cap it off with my own track. This is actually kind of an interesting one for me because I wrote it for Spotify. I didn't write it for any licensing. I'm not sending it to any libraries or anything like that. I was kind of inspired by some of the sleepy lo-fi and like the really low, like down tempo lo-fi study beats kind of stuff that I've been listening to on Spotify, and I'm gonna try to throughout the whole next year, I'm gonna try to grow like an artist brand that's like basically all lo-fi. It won't be all like sleepy. It won't be all of this style, but this is something that I came up with the other day, and I wanted an excuse to use the new Neural DSP Mateus. I'm saying it all wrong. Mateus Asado, is that it? That new Neural DSP guitar plugin that I got, which I used on this track. And I want to write some lo-fi stuff that makes use of my guitar primarily as kind of like like a melodic instrument, and something that I could kind of pitch to like Spotify playlists and stuff, because like that's sort of my goal for the next year is to start working towards like some Spotify stuff. I do a lot of library music, so it's nice to have like a project that's just like not licensing related at all. But here it is. It's called Afterglow. Oops, gotta turn it up. There you go, little lo-fi lullaby to put you to sleep for the rest of the day. Yeah, just wanted a little excuse to to mess around with the guitar. When do I get to put in a little guitar solo into my licensing tracks? Almost never. So yeah, that was fun. And hey, Catalan, welcome. You're late. We enjoyed your track though. Thanks for sending it over. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for listening. And thanks so much for being a part of the Academy. You guys, this is what a year this has been. We got one more live stream before the year is up. Just as a reminder, I think that the 20th of December is the Christmas live stream. So I'm going to be getting into the spirit. I got to get my Santa hat ready. I'm going to put a little bit of Bailey's in my coffee, and then I guess we'll I don't know if I'm going to have time to make a YouTube video before that or throughout the rest of December, just because there's so much going on right now. But it's cool to take a little break from YouTube, other than these live streams, which are a lot of fun. It's always great to showcase your guys' hard work, and I'm impressed. I think this is probably the most submissions ever for a challenge, so that's great to see, and I'm so glad that you guys took a stab at it. Lo-fi is strangely kind of like a tricky genre. And there's a few of you that tackled it for your very first time, which is always impressive. Yeah, we could do a zoom out here. Check this out. Look at all these tracks. Take a screenshot of that. Amazing. I'm so impressed with you guys. So I think that does it. For today. I'm going to sign off, and wishing you guys well. Yeah, thanks, Chris. My pleasure. Thanks everybody for providing excellent feedback and comments throughout the whole live stream. I can't believe I managed to keep this one under 2 hours. Are we over 2 hours? Yeah, 2 hours exactly. 2 hours and 1 minute. Sweet. Okay. Take care, guys. I will see you soon. Have a great day. Bye now.